First, Tucker Carlson, now Don Lemon. Coincidence or no? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about CNN firing Don Lemon from their network effective immediately, which is Monday, April 24th, 2023. Now, this news comes on the very same day that we found out Fox News, quote unquote, parted ways with Tucker Carlson. Now, is it a coincidence? Is it a conspiracy? I have no idea, and I digress. The whole point is that this news broke on the very same day. They're both gone from their respective networks. Now, Tucker was kind of surprising. I did not really see that one coming. There were little things here and there that I kind of look back on. Playing Monday morning quarterback, I'm like, okay, I saw that there. That might have been a sign. But I'm pretty surprised about Tucker leaving Fox. But Don Lemon leaving CNN, not surprised at all. Let's go back a little bit to about a year or so ago when Jeff Zucker was removed as the head honcho over at CNN. When they let him go and brought on Chris Light, there were quite a few changes made. Little Brian Stelter, shout out to Mark Dice. Little Brian Stelter, he got fired. Chris Cuomo got fired. There was quite a bit of moving and shaking happening over at the network. They were trying to get more back to the center, not so crazy, politically far left as far as I know. And they made a few moves. And I figured Lemon would be right on the chopping block. I figured they would get rid of him. And what they did was they downgraded him. He had a primetime slot. I think it was called Don Lemon Tonight. It might have been an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or whatever primetime show. They took him off with that and then put him on a daytime show with two female co-hosts. I'm like, okay, that's a downgrade right there. And when he got downgraded, he was trying to play it off on Twitter like, hey, it's not really a big deal. You know, I still love my job. That was the beginning of the end. And then once he went to the show, there was all kind of controversy. He's cussing out co-worker. I'm like, okay, his time on CNN is limited. Now, before we get into all that, let's go through an article right here. This is on New York Times. You see the headline, Don Lemon, CNN star anchor to leave the network. Mr. Lemon, one of the network's most recognizable stars, had been under scrutiny since making remarks about women and aging in February that were widely perceived to be sexist. Remember that? Talking about, well, if you Google when a woman's in their prime, it says in the 20s and the 30s or whatever. His co-host didn't like that too much. A lot of female employees or anchors on CNN didn't like it. A lot of regular normally women out there didn't like it. People that watch CNN. It's not like Tucker. Tucker would offend lefties that don't watch Fox. But Don was offending lefties that watch CNN. So that was a problem. Okay. Maybe, you know what? In some alternate universe, you might bring on Don Lemon to replace Tucker Carlson. That'd be crazy. If they swap places, that'd just be nuts. That'd be, I would not have that on my bingo card for 2023, but I am no longer surprised at anything that happens anymore. But I digress. So let's see here. Don Lemon's out of CNN. CNN said on Monday morning that it was parting ways with Mr. Lemon, a star anchor who was a fixture of the network's primetime lineup before enduring a short but controversial tenure as a morning show co-host. Remember, I said he had the primetime show. I think it was called Don Lemon Tonight. They took him off of that and then put him on daytime with two female co-hosts. If that was me and I was Don Lemon, I would go ahead and just quit right there because I know that the end is nigh. And if I didn't quit, I'd be certainly fielding other opportunities to go ahead and just jump to when I get fired. Okay? If they're giving me a severance package, whatever it is for being fired, I'm ready for my next venture already. I'm not even really trying to waste no time. I know that the end is upon me. So let's continue. CNN and Don have parted ways. The network said in a statement on Monday, Don will forever be part of the CNN family, and we thank him for his contributions over the past 17 years. We wish him well, and we'll be cheering him on in his future endeavors. The network said Mr. Lemon's morning show, which he hosted with Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Hollins, would continue. CNN this morning has been on the air for nearly 6 months, and we are committed to its success. So they're going to keep the show. They'll keep the two female anchors, but they get rid of Don Lemon. Now, would that be called racism? Because I got to point the elephant out. I mean, it's there, right? If it was on a different network, Fox, for example, that'd be topic of conversation. Don is obviously black, and the two white female co-hosts are there and have not been fired. And the whole thing was they had some kind of beef between the two of them. So I guess it's Don's fault, not their fault. They keep their job, he doesn't. I'm not saying it's racist, and I don't think anybody will say it because it's leftist and it's totally fine. But I digress. I was going to point that out because it was obvious, and somebody's got to do it. If I'm taking the arrows or pointing it out, then so be it. I'll take those arrows, right? So 57 years old. He was on the air, like I said, he was on the air Monday morning as normal, and then he put out a statement. I'll go ahead and jump to the statement, and then I'll get into why I'm not surprised that he has been fired. So here's Don Lemon's statement on his Twitter. I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in the management would have the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I've worked with for an incredible run. They are the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. So that's on his official Twitter page right there, Don Lemon, on the CNN departure. Now, here's why I'm not surprised that he has been fired by the network. This is an article from earlier this month, April 5th, 2023. This is not today. This is earlier this month, but it all makes sense as it relates to what's happening right now today on Monday, April 24th. So you see the headline, Don Lemon's misogyny, this is Variety. Don Lemon's misogyny at CNN exposed, malicious text, mocking female co-workers, and diva-like behavior. Now, this is really interesting because isn't Don Lemon gay? Yes, he is, obviously. And I think he's married to a man or as a boyfriend or something like that. And they're accusing him of diva-like behavior. I mean, why is that a thing that is abnormal for gay men to do? Like, isn't that what they do? You're talking about drag queen story time. Isn't that kind of like part of their whole thing? The so-called diva-like behavior. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Mocking female coworkers again. That's kind of part of what you get, right? With a guy like Don. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe, they got Shep Smith. He's gay too. And he's kind of like not like that. But Shep is not the star. Don Lemon is a star, bigger than Shep on CNN. Or where's he at? MSNBC, 13 DNC? I don't know. Anyway. So back in 2008, Don Lemon was co-anchoring CNN's Live From weekday show with Kyra Phillips, a gig that he landed after he arrived at the network 2 years prior from local news in Chicago. For months, tension between the pair kept mounting. On more than one occasion, a Live From producer had a newsroom supervisor and had to pull Lemon off the air during a commercial break because of the anchor's provocative antics. Not unlike his recent declaration that 51-year-old Nikki Haley isn't a viable presidential candidate because she isn't in her prime. That is not what he said at all, but it's funny how the turntable, right? When you say a thing that people are offended by, they don't want to give you any kind of nuance or any kind of grace. They just go with what the mob says. Funny how that works. Anyway, amid the charged atmosphere, sources say Lemon disrespected colleague Nancy Grace on the air and Soledad O'Brien during an editorial meeting attended by roughly 30 staffers. So they're Me Tooing Don Lemon right now. They're literally Me Tooing a gay dude. That's crazy. Wow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I think the moral of the story, and you know what? I got to defend Don Lemon. I think I defended him before in the video, but I got to defend Don Lemon. The moral of the story here is don't have female coworkers. Don't have female coworkers. And if you are going to have female coworkers, don't say a thing. Just shut up. Do whatever the staff tell you to do. Don't interact. Don't try to have any kind of playful banter, anything that could be considered offensive. Don't say a word to your female coworkers. Just go to work with your head down and shut up. And you know what? As I close, I'm going to say this. They probably set Don Lemon up by removing him from the primetime show where he was by himself to the show on daytime with two female coworkers because he knows he's been downgraded, number one. And then number two, you get these two female coworkers on there that are just in your ear all day. You're going to snap, which he did snap at him. He cussed at one of the girls, made her cry. This, in my opinion, was all set up. They didn't want to deal with him anymore. They wanted to go in a different direction, but they wanted to be able to get away with it without being considered racist or discriminatory. That's my opinion. That's my tinfoil hat logic right there. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Don Lemon being fired by CNN? Did you see it coming? Are you glad? What are they going to do? Who are they going to replace him with? I mean, there's no need to replace him because he was on the show with the 2 female coworkers. So that'll pretty much be what it is. But whatever your thoughts on this whole thing are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Not surprised at all. CNN is going to CNN. They probably were going to fire him anyway, along with Brian Stelter, Chris Cuomo, and the rest of them. But maybe they didn't want to do it outright and be considered discriminatory. I don't really know. But I think he was going to be fired. It was only a matter of time. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.